You're recording an album with Native Station, and I've been recording singles. How's your process going? You guys just getting in the studio like this week, right?
Yeah, we just started. I think we're done bass and drums for the most part.
Oh, really?
And then
That's quick. Good for you.
well, like I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so we'll see like where we're at. But from what I heard and what we did, yes, I'm pretty sure we got bass and drums.
Fuck yeah. Congratulations.
And then I'll be going back in like a couple days to do some guitar work. And like, and it's interesting because these songs are, I don't know, some are very very new, some are not as new, but still newish. But they are, what's the right word? I would say they all have characters of their own, and so in that sense also like there needed to be some sort of a precision there in order to like, and it's interesting going in there doing that and trying to create that, but at the same time also that precision has come through like a buku amounts of demos and reference tracks and stuff like that.
When you guys have been playing together for so long, you're all dialed in.
Well,
You guys get out pretty regularly live.
We did change our drummer.
But he seems dialed in.
Yeah, but we did change our drummer, so like, but that's like hasn't really affected much at all in terms of like chemistry wise.
Yeah, he didn't come in trying to turn you into a country band or some shit.
Nah, and it's someone I've known for a couple years. You know, it's not just like just some random tryout. You know, someone who's been to several of our shows before, heard the music cool. Before, knows kind of what we're about, that kind of thing. But brings his own style. But it's cool to have that too. But yeah, I mean, some of the songs like we had written like maybe 5 days before we got in the studio.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's awesome.
I like doing that better. I would, to be honest, I would rather just, if I had the money to, I would write and record in the studio. I would not write outside of the studio.
That's what I'm starting to do for these new singles. I'm just writing them basically in the studio, like in a recording format. I'm doing all my new stuff on piano, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm playing my piano part that I like, and I just leave it, and then I'll write to that.
Yeah.
Start with my
the
piano
freshness
part.
of that makes sense.
Yeah, the freshness of it. That's it. You're kind of discovering it in these little places as you record it. Well, for me, I do all the parts myself.
At least for me, I don't get the chance to overthink it.
Oh, I see.
I don't get to. There's a little bit of rawness, a little bit of edge that has to be kept there just by nature of being just in the studio and recording it.
The newness, the excitement of the song, and the meaningfulness of the lyrics are still, for me anyways, like I just wrote a new song called My Final Hope, and it's just about like needing a friend and turning to your friend and having a friend, It's kind of like a almost cheesy, topic, and the music's a little cheesy, and like I just take it to this kind of dark place, of course, because it's me.
Yeah.
But like I just love getting in there and finding these little melody parts that just slide right in, and there's space here, and all of a sudden this is the only possible thing it could be,
Yeah, there's a certain amount of pleasure that comes from fitting the right pieces in the right parts in the right spaces.
Oh yeah. It's like solving a puzzle where you have to make all the pieces as you go.
So do you feel like you get that more from a song that sat longer or a song that you just written?
Song that I just written. I'm more interested in new songs. As a songwriter that's written, I must have written thousands of songs.
Yeah.
I can write them anytime. But a song that I've been playing for 3 years, if it comes time, hey, you want to record that? I'm going, meh, but yeah, I guess. But like, I've already kind of like been with that song and
I think
stuff.
there's a happy medium in between.
You need to be familiar with
So
what
I
you're
think
doing.
the freshness is important, but I think there's a happy medium in between a song that's written and a song that's not edited.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. No, it needs to be edited.
It's on the like
We're
even
professional songwriters. We go through an editing phase.
and I think often that gets confused. Like I don't know. I've had conversations with people before where it's just like, oh yeah, I want that rawness there. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's important, but are you sacrificing like some better melody lines? Are you sacrificing a more impactful lyric? Like, I know for sure that if I would have gone with like the second or third or even fourth draft of some of the lyrics I've written on some of the songs, just on this album, it wouldn't be nowhere near as close. And then just the willingness, as hurt, like I think that's part of the pain of being a songwriter. As painful as it is to do it, the willingness to go in and cut again
Oh yeah.
and to slice back open what you once felt was whole.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that is a painful experience. It's it's destroying something on some level. You write the first version of the lyrics, and I think any songwriter who's been doing it a while knows, like, okay, that first draft, that's not the song probably. There are gonna be some tweaks
Like
here and there,
99 times out of 100, that's not going to be what you use in the end.
Right. But that 1%, all hail the 1%.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, this happened to me before. Where, yeah, the first draft is There's just happens sometimes where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not really getting past like this hits both the points and the emotion that I wanted, I'm not going to capture better than that for this piece. That being said, it's like I said, once out of 100, probably once out of 200.
Yeah.
If that.
I'm
It's
definitely
very,
like
very rare.
I'm a writer first and a musician second. That's just my own thing. I think that we've talked about that before.
I started as a writer first and
Yeah.
musician second.
Yeah, exactly. I know we've got that in common. But I still think of myself that way, and
I
like,
think I'm 50. I'm close to 50-50.
Are you
I'm
really?
60-40 right now. But
I
I'm
love
working.
music.
I'm trying to go to 50-50. That's
Yeah.
what I've been working towards.
I think I'll just always be more of a word man than a song man.
The arrangement, like the
I love that.
composition, all of that. Like I'm starting to try and really focus a lot more on that. So that's why I say I'm working towards. I'm at 60-40, working towards 50-50 because I put a lot more time in the last 2 years focused on that than I have on lyric writing. Not to say lyric writing has not been growing or anything like that, but my main like
You're trying to balance your skill set.
yeah, I want to grow this part to be somewhat equal to what I feel my lyric writing's at.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the music is beautiful. I love arranging, more than I love playing guitar or whatever at a show. I love putting different parts together and writing the extra parts around it. That's so good to me.
Producing is
Producing, yeah.
That's up there in terms of experiences.
Oh, it feels so good. And so one thing I love, what I'm doing right now is I'm writing more singles and I'm releasing them by themselves. Because, that's what you do with singles. You release them by themselves. By themselves. And I've been doing that. And so I've been able to just write songs that don't sound like they belong with the previous song. It's so
Standalones
nice.
are good for that.
Yeah, because we just, the Prairie Scholars back in 2014 or 15.
Wait, so are these standalone singles or are they promotional singles?
They're all standalone singles.
Because there is like I do distinguish between. I don't know if you distinguish between those, like the ones that are just like you said.
You release it to say like something else is coming out.
Or or the ones that you release that are like part of an album that you're about to release. I consider those promotional, like the ones you're saying that just are different veins and different sounds standalone.
Yeah, these are just like they get their own album art. They get their own little video thing and their own promotional thing. I just the previous tune I released was called we build the gods. And of course, it was about artificial intelligence, you know, and it overthrowing humanity. And I wrote it because obviously we've talked about that a billion times on this show. It's like 50% of what I contribute to this show, but it's
I'm a willing participant.
you are, and I appreciate that. You're very kind, and that we've been friends a long time, and you're very gracious about it. But I wrote that song, and because I wanted to write that, you know, and then I sent it to my friend who works up at the radio station as a joke, basically, like a tee hee hee.
Yeah.
Look at this funny song, like, because I think it's a really funny song, and you know, the stakes are so high in the song, and the drama is so high that it, to me, hits a funny place. And he, you know, I was sending it to him for that reason. And he's like, great, I'll just forward this to the music director. And now it's like, it's still in rotation, not temporary rotation. Apparently it is just one of the songs they play there.
Nice.
And it's still, months later, still on the radio. And you can listen to that. I'll give them a fucking plug for it. Because they're so great. 105.5, the Colorado Sound. Great radio station that lets local dudes put weird songs on sometimes, you know? Nice. And then the other one is the Colorado Phil show. That's on the internet as well. You can listen to that. They play my song as well. But I just released it for funsies, you know, and I gave it away for free.
That's sometimes how the best ones come about.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it again.
Just carefree, no anticipation, no really expectation behind it, and just like, hey, this is how I feel, or what something I wanted to write about.
Exactly, that's right. But now I've done it again. I wrote a weirder song. Because that just happened. It came out. It's called Whistles in the Darkness. It's about my trouble with sleeping. I have trouble sleeping. And the song's about that. And the song, like, breaks twice. Like, into a big mess. 2 different times in the song. And, you know, I thought, like, well, there's no way they'll put that on. And I just sent it to them, and maybe they'll put it on. It looks like they will. Because it's just a single. It's not like track 6 or some shit. It's the only thing that is out. You know, it gets its own little time in the sun. That's why I like putting out singles. I feel like
these are internet radio shows or like terrestrial radio shows.
105.5 is terrestrial.
Terrestrial.
Radio.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I believe Colorado Phil is as well, but he also does an online deal.
What do you think is the future of radio shows, both terrestrial and internet?
Niche.
I know that's a term, but
I think it's niche marketing is going to be their future, and community funded probably is probably the future.
Community funded. Oof.
Yeah. You know, like a lot of them do that. NPR does that. 105.5 does that. I think mostly. Or maybe they're completely.
When was the last time you listened to the radio?
I listen to it when I'm in the car. You know, like everybody, I guess. Or like when one of my friends is putting out a single or something, I try and tune in and hear it. It's fun to hear your friend on the radio. You know, I still get. You remember that movie, That Thing You Do? You doing that?
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Remember that one? It's one of my favorite.
Wait. So that
movies.
was like the guys who created that band.
Yeah, they're 4 guys in the 50s. Tom Hanks is their manager.
Yeah.
You know, it's a wonderful movie. Okay. And when they hear their song on the radio the first time, they freak the fuck out, you know, and they stop traffic. And it's just this whole thing. I still feel that way about radio, you know? Like, there it is, dude. You're on the radio, or like my friend.
There's still
you know?
some there's still some nostalgia, still some.
But I think it's niche marketing. You know, eventually, like there will be a Longmont only radio station because they wants to play stuff that's only from here. You know what I mean? That's a niche, and like that would get listens guaranteed.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know,
it's gonna have to be. Whew.
Definitely, it's gonna go niche. That's everything. Everything's following that trend.
Very much that way. Because like,
we could do that now.
I'm trying to think of the last time I listened to the radio.
Not even online. I listen to it sometimes.
So I do listen to like a radio talk show on a radio app.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
So-
radio app. That's like with the feature for them.
So I listened to that, but man, that's more like a live podcast. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I would consider that, not radio.
Well, that is maybe what radio will eventually become. But right now, like, a lot of people listen to the radio. Especially, like, people in the big cities seem like they listen to it. You know, it is a thing. People always come up to me and they're like, I heard you on 105.5 or whatever. And I'm like, really? Because I haven't caught the song yet. That's the other part of the story. I'm not listening to it often enough to have caught the song. Sometimes I'll flick it on for an hour while I'm at the house doing something, and then it just won't happen for me. But one day I'm gonna be listening to that show or the station, and like my song's gonna come on, and I'll be like, "Ha ha! Look at that! I'm one of these guys. I just came on after whoever, Nathaniel Rateliff, or who the fuck everville. I'm in the fucking list. The Rolling Stones were the song before me. Like, come on. That's fucking awesome still. That's still awesome. You know?
Yeah, no,
It still feels good. And, like, that's the only time my name is going to be in a list beside the Rolling Stones. You know what I mean? So, like, I should enjoy it.
Rolling Stones, man.
You know, or whoever it is.
Yeah, no, that brings back memories.
I'm actually not a huge Rolling Stones fan. I kind of just...
I'm a moderate one.
I like the vibe, I guess.
I like all the popular songs.
I was supposed to... If you want to hear a fucking story, this is an awkward story. You want to hear an awkward story?
Okay.
Once upon a time, I lived in Texas, and this would have been maybe 2008. And I was really touring around and stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's this theater in Lubbock, Texas called the Cactus Theater. And I'm always trying to get gigs there. Because it's like the big gig in town. It's the theater. When a big show comes through, like one of those locally important shows, not like Garth Brooks or some shit, but like one of the, Joe Ely or somebody, he'll come there. And that's a big deal for that city. And for me personally, because I love that music. But I'm always trying to get a gig there, blah, blah. Well, they call me up and they're like, hey, we're doing a tribute show. Would you like to come sing some songs you didn't write? You don't have to play an instrument. You just come out and sing them. It's to like wave at a crowd and have fun, and we'll owe you one, basically. Yeah. And basically what I took that as is like next time the Flatlanders come through town, or next time Terry Allen comes through town, and I go, I want to open. They maybe let me. Yeah. That's what I thought. But those names, you've never heard those names, right?
Flatlanders I've heard.
Okay, maybe from me even. But yeah, those guys, they were a huge deal for me. Butch Hancock is my favorite songwriter.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, boy, this intro is forever. So they call me up and I'm doing 3, because of course I agree. It's very rare that I would agree to such a thing, but the prize was tempting enough.
Exposure.
Yeah, I show up, I sing 3 songs, and then I'm done.
So they always get you exposure.
Right, exposure. But motherfuckers get arrested for exposure. People have died of exposure.
Only when it's indecent.
That's true, but people have died of exposure.
This is true.
So
that's only when it's extreme.
Okay, that's fair. I like this. I like this little back and forth. So I'm doing these songs. One of them is Brown Sugar. Have you heard this song? Rolling Stones tune? Yeah. Okay.
That's got some lyrics in it.
I'm listening to this song, and I'm just a normal guy or whatever, but I'm listening to this shit, and I'm going, I don't want to sing this. This seems racist to me. And maybe I'm reaching or whatever. And as I think back, I can't remember what the lyrics were, but I remember thinking like...
Well, if I remember, it's him trying to tell a story in a very explicit way. Mm-hmm. It's very explicit.
Yeah, so there was some... Oh, man, I wish... Maybe I can pull up the lyrics, but I just remember thinking they were so embarrassingly racist that I just told them, like, yo, I'm going to sing this one.
This ain't in my wheelhouse. So.
2 songs. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just tell the story then. So I call him back. I'm like, it's been like a couple weeks. And I call him back and I'm like, yeah, I can't. I can't sing this song, you know? They're like, why not? I'm like, oh, it's racist, I think. I think it's racist as fuck. I don't remember what it was that pushed my button about it, but I remember going like, yo, I can't sing this. And they argued with me a little bit about it to be like, it's just a traditional rock song, relax. And I'm like, nah, I'll sing the other two songs. And so I went and sang the other two songs, and they let me skip out on that one. I did most of what they asked me to do. 66%.
Okay, so.
Oh, you got the lyrics pulled up?
So, yeah. Man.
Yeah. Once I realized that Brown Sugar was him talking to a black lady, it made me go like, okay, I can get there. I can be there with you. Whatever. That we can. I don't know. That doesn't seem bad and racist. That seems kind of sexual and I don't know, skin tone based thing. That's not bad, right? But there's other shit in there, as I recall. Do you have it?
Okay, so yeah, I've got the lyrics. I was just sort of looking at a little bit at the background. It seems at one point in time, and I can't confirm it in such fast fashion. So we'll just go unconfirmed that he did sort of want to like kind of take the song back.
Okay. Okay, good.
At some point in time, he was like, I wish I hadn't been so raw with it.
Yeah, cool.
So
all right. So I think I did read it correctly then. Reading it rather than singing it is going to be so much worse. Let's lay that out there first.
Yeah, it is.
And
so
then
I'm reading this and I'm trying to figure out where the angle is
let me reach in here and just give Mick Jagger a little bit of a break. You know, here's a guy who's real high and all this, and you know he's on all the wrong drugs, folks. And he has since apologized. He was a young punk when he wrote this stuff, and I guess he has backed away from it, and I certainly backed away from it. It's so bad. I remember it being so bad. Maybe I'm overreacting.
Okay. This is so. Alright.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is the best thing we've done on this show.
Okay, this is weird to me because I
think you should read the lyrics just straight all the way down, and then we'll discuss them.
Just all the lyrics?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like prose, like a poetry reading. Is that good? I think we should do it that way.
Okay. So I just typed in, just for reference, I just typed in Brown Sugar Rolling Stones lyrics. And this is what came up in Google. Under like,
are there a bunch? Is it a longer song than I remember? It's a medium song, I guess.
It's a medium song. I don't think it's longer than you.
I think it's going to be worse than I remember. Because I don't remember what it was that made me go,
well, let's start with the first line.
Okay.
Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields.
Oh, God!
Sold in the market down in New Orleans. Scarred old slaver know he's doing all right. Hear him whip the women just around midnight.
Hear him whip the women just around midnight.
Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should.
Whoa, he's whipping these young girls, and that's the opinion on it.
Drums beating cold, English blood runs hot. Lady of the house wondering when it's gonna stop. Houseboy knows that he's doing all right. You should have heard him just around midnight. Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should.
Ooh, it's dark.
Brown sugar, how come you dance so good? Brown sugar, just like a black girl should. I bet your mama was a Cajun queen, and all her boyfriends were sweet 16. I'm no schoolboy, but I know what I like. You should have heard them just around midnight. Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a black girl should. I said, yeah, woo. How come you dance so good? Yeah, woo. Just like a black girl should. Yeah, woo. Songwriters Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
That's pretty bad.
Wow.
Yo, that's pretty bad. Tell me, like, what do you think about that? Like, piece by piece, what do you think is offensive about that? Because I think I read it properly, but your opinion's interesting.
Well, he seems to be glorifying like,
Are
yeah,
these slave girls getting whipped and raped? Is that what's happening?
this, yeah, I mean, lady of the house wondering when it's gonna stop. Like that doesn't sound like a very consensual.
The lady don't like it. The other lady in
Yeah,
the story don't like it.
houseboy knows that he's doing all right. Drums beating cold, English blood runs hot. I mean, those don't. Yeah,
English blood runs hot. That's dark. Oh, it's so scary and bad. I can't believe it.
and I can't. Yeah, like that's wild. That yeah, that's not a song. Wow.
That's real bad.
Yeah, that's. I'm surprised that was a. Mm, that's just. That's shocking to me.
It's shocking. I'm so glad we agree. This is a fucking shocking song. I can't get past it and like the other songs the Stones do. That's my thing. I'm not saying anybody
See,
should protest
I
it or
don't.
whatever.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever really. I'm trying to remember if I've sat down and read the lyrics. I just always know. It was always explained to me the lyrics were bad. I don't know if I've ever sat down and read the lyrics. I've only heard the song a couple times. But yeah, I didn't realize.
As a songwriter, can you imagine writing that?
Well, no, like what kind of message are you trying to convey? Like to me, as a songwriter, I'm always trying to convey some sort of message.
Yeah.
Now, they have said that sometimes. They have said that this is supposed to be like a metaphor for heroin, and but at a certain point in time, like yeah, you go for shock value sometimes as a songwriter. Admittedly, there's lines, but I mean that's as an entire metaphor, as a running metaphor for your entire song. That seems a little dark.
I don't think that's a metaphor. You know what I mean? That doesn't read like. This
Well,
song's
I'm
about-
trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
that's
know.
just even just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I don't know. Like I think it speaks a lot more to the times than anything else.
Yeah.
That song was allowed to just float and just go. And that is, I mean, it's considered on it's top 400. It's in the top 500 songs on Rolling Stones.
People aren't. I don't know. The people at the Cactus, they're not like racists or whatever in Lubbock. They're just like normal folks. They just like, yeah, it's a fun song. We do that one, you know. And they did, once I was talking to the lady about it on the phone, she was like, oh, it says that. I was like, yeah, yo, I don't want to talk about slave ships bound for New Orleans. I want to. That's in the first like 30 seconds of this tune.
I mean, the first line is Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields. Second line, sold in the market down in New Orleans. Third line, scarred old slaver knows he's doing all right. Hear him whip the woman just around midnight.
That's scary.
I mean, that's the first stanza. That's how you open the song. And there's not a lot to give you.
That guy's not the bad guy in the story. You know what I mean? That guy's the guy with the perspective.
See,
the guy writing the song agrees with that guy.
I'll play that. Like I'll try to play devil's advocate to what I'm reading, and the only stanza I see that could be like heroin, really. Besides the brown sugar, how come you dance so good and taste so good or whatever? I bet your mama was a Cajun queen, and all her boyfriends were sweet 16. Now the boyfriend's sweet 16, like I can like teenage boys being into drugs and okay, and then from what I've never done heroin before, I understand brown Cajun queen, like best of the brown. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I'm no schoolboy, but I know what I like.
Okay.
You should have heard them just around midnight. That's the. I mean, at some point. But then at some point in time, you put that in the context of the rest of the song. You're like, nah, that don't work.
You can't, dude.
And it's a stretch. And it's just like, how do you let that sit? I don't know. I don't know how the Rolling Stones got away with. I mean, well, I do know it was the 1960s. There you go. Explanation.
Well, that's a long time ago for sure. But yeah, man, that song did not age well.
Not at all.
I can't believe it, man. I've never heard a song that's so, I don't know, it's not anti any of this stuff. It's not saying like, it regrets the slave ships or the guy with the whip or whatever.
I mean, the lines that really get me though: drums beating cold, English blood runs hot. Lady of the house wondering when it's gonna stop. Houseboy knows that he's doing all right. You should have heard him just around midnight. That's just like that. I can't. That's one's
That's so weird.
like even out of the context, like that those lines right there are just not cool to me.
The,
They don't. They like I said to you. They do not scream in any way consensual. That's like,
no, that's definitely true.
like even just you can compare it down to one line. Lady of the house wondering when it's gonna stop. Like that's.
That paints a picture. That's good songwriting.
I mean, yeah.
It's effective.
Yeah, I mean, you got
I imagine some
definitely
lady.
went in your dark palette bag and just started brushstroking away.
I imagine some lady like sitting in the living room by some fire, kind of like uncomfortable and listening to this happen in the background and knowing that she can't stop it, is just wondering when it's gonna stop.
See, I imagine something way worse. Way worse. I imagine something way worse.
Yeah, it's dark, dude. I
Yeah,
just
I don't even want to
understand.
vote. Yeah, I don't even want to. Like, yeah, no.
It's definitely about slaves from Africa being whipped and how that is awesome. That's what the song seems to say. Oh, how come you taste so good? Whip, whip, whip. Hey, are we having fun? Whip, whip, whip. What the fuck? That's horrifying.
Like, I don't know. I'm kind of have to check you though. It's not funny though.
No, it's not funny.
Yeah,
it's
not.
horrifying.
It's not funny.
No, it's horrifying. I guess I'm laughing out of shock.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's just wow. Huh. Yeah, I never really read those lyrics before.
Yeah, man. Well, I'd never really listened to the song before I was asked to sing it or whatever, and I had to like learn the lyrics. I pulled those fuckers up and I was like, oh, no, no. Ugh. It's so gross. It's so gross.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know how like Yeah, it's the '60s, and the sad thing is the '60s. Like that was what less than 60 years ago.
Dude, it wasn't that long
It's
ago
like-
at all. You know, it's just like...
It's just about 60 years ago that the '60s would have started. This song was written probably like in I don't know exactly what year, but I mean,
The songwriter even regrets it, you know, but it's so far
It was
out.
recorded in it's barely the '60s. It was recorded in 1969.
Yeah. It's just so far out. It's not some awkward reference or whatever. It's not light at all. It's not like it is the focus of the song. The abuse of these people is the focus of the song. And basically affirming the abuse of those people is the focus of the song. It's so sick.
I mean, then you start reading into the background of the song and thinking, and there's like just some things where it may have been based off of real women. That's yeah.
Oh, it says that?
I mean, okay, so one of the websites I like is Genius. And it's like lyric breakdowns and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And so it gives like at the top of each lyric, it just gives a little brief in it, like background on songs. So I'll just read. Hold on 1 second. I'll read this because I think it's kind of, I guess since we're talking about it, it's prevalent. All right. Recorded in 1969, and this stuff is like, so I mean, a lot of this stuff, usually when I go on Genius, I can find stuff and then back it up. So
So it's pretty reliable.
it's usually pretty reliable. But you know, it is still a website. You know, it's fallible, just like us.
Sure.
So,
Oh
but
man, let me prepare myself.
recorded in 1969 in Muscle Shoals Studios, Jagger wrote the riff to this one while filming Ned Kelly in Australia. The song appeared on Sticky Fingers and is a staple of the Stones' canon. Keith in his book Life on Jagger's lyrics writing process. They started running down Brown Sugar the first night, but they didn't get a take. I watched Mick write the lyrics. It took him maybe 45 minutes. It was disgusting. He wrote it down as fast as he could move his hand. I'd never seen anything like it. He had one of those yellow legal pads, and he'd write a verse, a page, just write a verse, and then turn the page, and when he had 3 pages filled, they started to cut it. It was amazing. The song is thought to have been inspired by soul singer Claudia Linier, who is also the inspiration behind David Bowie's "Lady Grinning Soul." Notice the difference. I want to go to David Bowie's song about her. Anyway, there are several different ways to interpret the song. The most straightforward is a meditation on white male on black female sex and how power has influenced it. Alternatively, it could be more generally about interracial sex or black sex. Finally, as metafiction, Mick Jagger plunders the musical history of black people from slave rhythms to spirituals to blues to honky tonk, and further is willing to proudly crow about how tempting and good they are. The first reading is probably what was intended, but given the rollicking rock, the final is not inappropriate, whether intended or not. So, yeah, there's that. And let's go to David Bowie's. This is
So wait, he wrote this potentially about a specific lady?
that's one of the theories. So those are all the different theories. So the one theory is that he wrote it about a lady, or that he was just like he is sort of like they say as they ironically say rock and roll sort of plunders from gospel and blues. He was sort of plundering from black history, and to write a song, and just write metafiction, or it was to be like stuff about white male, black female, sex power dynamics, interracial sex in general, black sex, all kinds of things.
Yeah. Man.
So, but the lady he supposedly wrote that song about, David Bowie, also supposedly wrote a song about her.
Who's this lady?
So I guess we should get to that since two legends, quote unquote, wrote a song about her.
The next song's nice.
Claudia Linier. It's David Bowie, and I have some. I hope so too. So Claudia Linier is a soul singer, American soul singer.
Cool.
A very beautiful black woman. For people who are listening, you can look her up yourself. That's Claudia, Claudia, Lanier, Lennear.
I love soul music.
And
Claudia Lynn. I wonder if I know of any of her songs.
I was just trying to think about that myself. Alright, so let's just read the description. I'll read the lyrics.
Oh, I hope these are nice.
She'll come, she'll go, she'll lay belief on you. Skin sweet with musky oil, a lady from another grinning soul. Cologne she'll wear, silver and Americard. She'll drive a Beetle car and beat you down at Cool Canasta. And when the clothes are strewn, don't be afraid of the room. Touch the fullness of her breast, feel the love of her caress. She will be your living end. She'll come, she'll go, she'll lay belief on you, but she won't stake her life on you. How can life become her point of view? And when the clothes are strewn, don't be afraid of the room. Touch the fullness of her breast, for the love of her caress, she will be your living end. And that's it.
Oh, I like that. That was fun. I like that. That's like very sexy, positive thing.
It's supposed to be. It's described as the closing track on Bowie's 1973 Latin Sane. This track is a very romantic piano ballad. It is often cited as being inspired from David's first meeting with soul singer Claudia Linier, who is also said to be the inspiration behind the song Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. According to the pianist of the song, Mike Garrison. The song is about as romantic as it gets. French with a little Franz Liszt thrown in there.
Okay, well, I like the second thing. That seemed nice.
I mean, I felt like David Bowie would be classy about it.
So maybe back then this was like a famous singer who everybody knew, and obviously she's beautiful. So like maybe like dudes that age were just like that lady, you know, Claudia Lanier. Is that what?
Yeah, and David Bowie wrote Lady Grinning Soul, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards wrote, mostly Mick Jagger from what I understand, wrote Brown Sugar. I mean, one's a loving tribute to a meeting, and the other is just rough.
One
to say the
seems
least.
like it is seductive, you know, and there's a caress happening in that song, you know. There's like this intimacy happening, this softness and this connection thing.
There's
happening.
flowers in the air, you know, there's light tinklings of the piano. Yeah.
The other one ain't like that.
No, the other one, there's whips and chains.
And like
Literally, whips and chains.
and not like in a fun way, like the worst way possible.
Yeah.
That's so awful. And yet I'm glad we looked it up. It was interesting to learn about. And glad to have not done the song.
It's always good to put history in perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's important to put it in perspective, but that just it's no excuse, in my opinion.
Well, no, I guess perspective is the wrong word. I guess it's always important to reflect on history, and to regain a little bit of yeah. One of those songs, by the way, is in Rolling Stone's top 500 rock songs, and the other is just a song by David Bowie.
The world is terrible. Oh my god. Oh, Greg, the world is sort of terrible.
I mean, there's articles, David Bowie's Lady Grinning Soul, Claudia Lanier of Pomona remembers her friend. I mean, come on. David Bowie and her were friends, apparently. There's like interviews of her. And she's, yeah, I mean, clearly reflects fondly on the man. I wonder what her thoughts are on Brown Sugar.
Oh my god.
I can't even. I wonder if she's ever been asked that.
I'm sure, dude. I mean, yes, about Bill. Like the only question people ask her, you know.
Yeah.
Jesus, that is terrible. It was totally worse than I remembered it. I just remember being like, "This is uncomfortable. It's impossible that I can sing this." You know, it's a fun like the song itself, the music of it, great, is really attractive, and that's the reason it's popular or whatever. But like, the lyrics are just the fucking worst. Like they are obviously to me hilariously evil. You know, like so bad that like I'm surprised. You know how I'm surprised how bad they are. Ugh, it's so gross.
Yeah, it's wild.
There was other shit going on. That's basically in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like there were other things going on. And like there are weird, you know, approaches to race in music from that history. I'm sure you can catch the Beatles saying something awkward or whatever, but you're not gonna hear them say that shit about whipping people and chains and all this shit. No, you're not gonna hear that from the Beatles, you know, or the Beach Boys or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, I mean, even as early as 1995, Mick Jagger was like, "Yeah, I miss." It was he. Who knows what was going on about in that song? A mismatch of rough topics, and I'm quoting, and I'm not quoting here. I'm paraphrasing here, and I could never write that song now. In 1995, he didn't think that he could write that song.
Gross. Shame to have to learn in public. That's really bad. Yeah, man. I don't remember how we got to there, but
I have no idea.
I did. I
I
remember
think we
telling
just
that
spent like
story.
a good 30 minutes on it.
Did we?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a dark song. But what's like? Here's the other side of that. That's probably one of the more racist songs I know. You know, what is the opposite of that? What is the most non-racist song?
Oh, there's
every other song that doesn't talk about
yeah.
race.
I mean, there's so many songs about love though.
Yeah, but is there a song that comes up in your mind like, here's a song about positivity and equality in the races? I remember one in church that was like,
and equality in the races.
yeah, like I remember one in church that was like, but it's racist probably still, because it labels all the races as colors. It goes red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the children of the world.
Oh, I remember that song.
That kind of shit doesn't bother me. I don't mind being called white or whatever. That's like, I think it's just easy, helpful terminology.
I'm trying to remember what my thoughts were on that song. I just remember as a kid, I was not happy in the atmosphere. I was in the Bible Belt too.
Yeah.
In church. It was just like I didn't know what it was, but it was just uncomfortableness. And it was like, oh man, like I don't know.
There was a subtle racism where I'm from for sure. I never saw anybody get mistreated because of their race.
If we're gonna talk about racism, I hate subtle racism.
Yeah.
I would much rather it just be blatant. At least I can tell where it's coming from. Like, in a weird way, like, so it's easier to dodge arrows than bullets. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you can see, and maybe that's a bad analogy, but, like, I don't know. I've always felt that way. Subtle racism is the worst because you can't really prove it, and then it's under wraps, and no.
The perpetrator doesn't maybe even realize they're doing it or whatever, just follow.
Well, and if you can't prove it, like, and if they don't even realize it, or if it's just built in, then it's that how you change that. That's the most frustrating thing. It's not even that. It's like there's no way to change it if it's hidden. If it's out in if it's out in the open. Like cancer is a lot harder to fix if you don't know it's there.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's harder for society to like point at and be like, okay, there's we're bleeding from there.
Yeah, it's easier for people to just become complacent and just be like, oh well, that's not. There, all these other factors are what's contributing to this situation instead of this. Like if it's blatant, you can just be like, no, this is what it is, and there's no like you can't be like, oh, well, how about the other person just wasn't rude, or how about the other person just was a little bit more polite, or how about the other person just was come well prepared, or no, you just like, oh no, this is what it was, and that's what. And there's something swift and justice like about those kind of things. I think that's why I like it.
But the subtle things
take years. Litigation in courts. You got to go through people's emails. You got to get through private messages. You may never find out.
Yeah, I definitely don't understand how to fix those kind of problems in society, except to point at them.
And it's easier to point at a blimp than it is a balloon. That's all I'm saying. The more obvious it is, it's easier to just like, and the more people see it.
Yeah, it's easy to be like, hey, look, there's an extra water fountain that only certain people have to drink from. That seems like bullshit, right? There's that. That's not equality, right? Okay, right. That's easy to fix, right? That's easy to point at and be like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, and it's not so easy when you're like, oh, wait, like, there's judges that view certain people and their judgments and they send a disproportionate amount of certain people to jail,
Mm-hmm.
which restricts the income ability of a certain populace, which then further leads to lack of higher education because it's
Or
just
congressional redistricting
yeah.
is classic.
yeah,
You know.
a nice. I mean, oh yeah, if you look at the districts and especially on the eastern like coast,
That's a big one.
in Virginia, it's so like it's like they were trying to make a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Well,
And, like the
and
Republicans especially
it's
are
just
terrible
it's like it's really bad. Like you can see like there's some districts in like Maryland where like it's just a long thin strip of land that runs through other districts and makes no sense as why. And then you realize who lives in that long
Yeah.
strip of land, and you're like, okay,
Yep. Or they're distributing a certain populace, into different districts by cutting their neighborhood up or something like that.
Yep.
So that they have fewer votes, and so it's like, it's so
it goes
evil,
it goes
man.
either that way or they try to group like some
give
states
them
just
just
group
one.
them all and just say, hey, oh, this district is one vote.
Yep. Yep, those are the kind of two ways to do it. They're just fucking.
But yeah, it goes
wicked
either
evil.
way. It goes either way,
Ugh.
and
I can't believe those Congress people, man. They do such wicked shit.
but that's just not. So it's not really. It's just not very obvious.
Right.
So it's not like you have to like be looking like you have to be reading articles. You have to be studying that kind of thing to get that, and if you have if you have some sort of bias there, you're just being presented with those facts is not going to do it for you. But like some video where, like say some figure of authority comes up and does something differently to someone of one color than another, that's blatant. And if it's on video and you can see like they're clearly treating one person differently than another, that makes it easier to be just like, hey, that's wrong. And that makes in this age of litigation, it makes it easier for to point out and cut out. But it's sad that cancer has to grow to that size of a mass for it to be able to be cut out.
Yeah, people need more reasons to think about it. It's like global warming. It's one of these things. It's kind of like this slow creeping thing that people are just now being like, maybe we should fucking pump the brakes on this a little bit,
Well, it's just like it's crazy because all these things that happen in history that you would think that people would learn from have not been but like 100 years but in the past. It's like you can point to examples of a whole lot of different things from 100 years in the past as to why people should be acting differently than they are now, but people just don't learn as you would expect them to in mass.
Isn't that weird?
Well, that has to do a lot to do with the education system, which I feel like is a whole another thing that another subject that if I could sum up, I feel like probably the education system has been purposely weakened in order to allow for the easier control of a larger massive population.
Completely agree with you.
But I mean, for now, I think we're gonna call this episode "Brown Sugar" appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either that or tan sucrose.
Tan sucrose. Code. We speak code language
Yes.
now.
Yes, I like that. All right, but for now, my name is Greg,
I'm dope.
and this has been the Late Weekend Show.
Oh my goodness.
All right, you guys have a good evening, night, day, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening. Enjoy it.